I know that some of you find it hard to believe that I'm not a member of the DA. Some of you ask me to be less biased. I've said this before. In the face of truth and lies, you have to be biased. In the face of life and death, you have to be biased. Welcome to Citizen Concerned, where we remind you to beware of the comrades. I'm Katlego and would appreciate it if you subscribed to our YouTube channel, liked and shared this video with other citizens. People complain about the fact that I make EFF, MK and ANC videos a lot. Yes, I agree. I do make those more than any other kind, and the reason is clear. They are the biggest liars. They are the most divisive parties we have. Currently, they pose the greatest danger to South Africa and her people. The unions such as COSATU, SATU and NUMSA have contributed to the problems in this country as well. As concerned citizens, we need to think critically and use logic. When you do that, you'll come to the same conclusions I have. That's only if you care about the truth. That's if you're not hostile towards specific people. That's if you don't judge people based on preconceived ideas about them, but rather based on the evidence presented about them. That's if you are a person that loves all of South Africa and its people. If we turn a blind eye like many of you would like me to, if we refuse to air the dirty laundry because we want to protect black leaders, if we keep quiet, we will allow evil leaders to commit great atrocities in the name of black people. Evil things will be committed in the name of black people. We as black people must take race out of the issue and speak up and stop these people. For apartheid to end, white people started to speak up against their fellow white leaders who were in charge of the apartheid government. White people in other countries started to speak up. The same needs to happen even now. Black people need to start speaking up against the black leaders who commit deeds that endanger South Africa and her citizens. Now the government is also made up of non-black people, and if and when they do such things, we will speak up against them too. Apartheid was committed in the name of white people, but since white people started protesting it and white people voted against it in the 1992 referendum, then how could the National Party continue with it? We need to start waking up as South Africans. We need to be intentional about enacting the change we wish to see instead of voting for people whose policies have never created wealth for anyone simply because of their race. We can't vote based on race. We need to vote for what works. Remember, everything that our politicians are trying to do has been done before. Everything that they want to do has been done before. Some things led to national failures and disasters, while some things led to successes and prosperity. We as the voters need to be more informed about what works best and what doesn't. During the apartheid government, the ANC and many other anti-apartheid activists engaged in behaviors that were wrong in order to get their point across. The actions may have been wrong, but the intention was a noble one. Fighting against the discrimination was good. Standing up for their rights for what is true and fair, that was good. But the ANC was labeled a terrorist organization. Many people like Mandela were labeled terrorists. Why? Because they committed evil, horrible things to get their point across. Car bombings, sabotage, killings, you name it. They did bad things for freedom to come. Did you know that every time that people like the ANC committed acts of violence, it created the idea in some white people that black people were crazy savages? How could they do that? We can't be equal to people like that. So the action scared some white people even more and made some white people hate black people more. Would we be free if those things had not been done? I think so, but maybe it would have taken longer. Maybe it wouldn't have come, but the trend shows it was going to happen eventually. Certain people, particularly white people, speaking against apartheid was as effective, if not more effective, than the violence. Now, within democratic South Africa, we have a few racial policies of our own. White people are being discriminated against by certain government policies. The government of South Africa has become racist, and that is a big deal. We have to fight against it. It has been decades since those days of the ANC terrorists, and we have come to a full 360 right back to where we were decades ago. Only difference is white people are not exclusively in charge of the government anymore. Black people are in charge now. White people are not enacting racist policies anymore. It's black people doing that. And this has caused many white people to suffer and feel discomfort. Yes, the discomfort faced by white people is nothing compared to that experienced by black people during apartheid. That is clear. But it is discomfort still. Black people can now say racist things and demeaning things about white people and get away with it. Black people can get away with saying anything which white people cannot get away with saying. White people are now being discriminated against, and some of them choose to not speak about it, just like some black people chose to not speak against discrimination during apartheid. But guess what? Some white people are choosing to fight against the discrimination, just like some black people chose to fight against discrimination during apartheid. And that is good. They're standing up for their rights, standing up for what is true and fair. The ways that some of these white people choose to fight makes many black people think, wait a minute, we can't share power with these white people. They are racist. They are dangerous. Some of the actions from white people are scaring black people even more. They are making some black people hate white people more. Guess what? That's exactly how some white people felt when black people and the ANC did bad things to get their points across during apartheid. In modern South Africa, a few white people chose to fight back the discrimination they were going through in South Africa. It's these two that made noise recently. Take a look.
The University of Pretoria that aren't allowing white students to study veterinary science there. They rejected after applying. We're representing about, I think it's 73 students that applied, and they were rejected because of the fact that they're white. We know this because they eventually, after a big struggle, told us that the department explained to them that they won't let more white people study, or they won't let white people study. There needs to be more blacks studying veterinary sciences.
They delivered a memorandum of demands to the department's Diane Parker.
The University of Pretoria's veterinary science faculty did not accept 30 highly distinguished applicants on the basis of their race. This is because the Department of Higher Education and Training, which partially funds the faculty, had decreed that the university has to reflect national demographics, which means that white students who could have otherwise gotten in on their academic record got excluded. Some of us get the point, but there are those of us who like playing victim. There are those of us who don't care about the truth. Kids not being allowed to study because of their color is a bad thing. You can't treat children like that. That is how you create and perpetuate racism. Those same kids may begin to hate black people just because of those race quotas in university. Ian Cameron, like others, painted his face black to say, if I was black, you'd have let me in. And he was right. It is true. But because black people see it as a racist act, all the suffering of those white kids went out the window. It became a thing of, you are racist, you are mocking us. In truth, he wasn't mocking, he was protesting. But the method of protesting is what got him in trouble. Now it becomes about the blackface and not the racial discrimination at the University of Pretoria. Now people will call him racist, and they won't discuss the issues affecting those UP students. No, they won't. Here's another clip.
All right, so there's a couple of things I want to say, okay? Kill the fucking Kafirs, kill all the fucking niggers. That's all I've got to fucking say. Kill all the Kafirs, kill all the fucking niggers. Alright, so now that I have your attention, tell me, how did it feel when you heard that? How did it make you feel as a black man to hear that, okay? Not even to talk about white people. How did you as a black man feel hearing that? Yes, you were enraged. You were upset. It shocked you, right? Okay. So now that we have the context for the vid, okay, let me explain something to you. I didn't mean anything I said there, but I wanted to evoke a response out of you so that you can understand what the next part of the vid's about. Julius Malema at the University of the Free State, all right? Now, we think it's a bunch of educated people, all right? It's a university, so which means that, you know, they had to have grade 12. They had to be educated enough to go to university, okay? So Julius Malema goes there, and he's basically having a conference about some random shit, basically just, you know, exposing himself in the sense of making him more aware with the educated bunch, okay? So now he's standing there, and the place is filled with majority black people because he's there from the ANC, okay? So now he stands there, he has his little speech. Firstly, he calls Helen Zille a Satanist, okay? Without any fucking proof, of course, he calls her a Satanist. No proof whatsoever. Then he calls her a rapist, okay? You know, that's how he starts his speech. Then at the end, he pulls out the fucking struggle song, Kill the Boer, Kill the Farmer, okay? Then that entire place fucking erupts, and all of them sings it. Like you know, like fucking barbaric people. They start singing it, okay? Now, what springs to my mind is, this is educated people in South Africa, all right? This is a bunch of young people that in no way were directly affected by apartheid. In no fucking way directly affected by apartheid, okay? Not even Julius Malema. And here they are singing about killing the Boer, killing the farmer, okay? And they're calling all of them rapists. Now, for those of you that don't know out there, okay, when in South Africa a person says kafir, or when in America a person says nigger, what do you think they refer to? They try to use a derogatory term for black people, okay? In South Africa, when a black man says kill the Boer, kill the farmer, he's not talking about farmers, he's talking about white people, okay? Now, this has erupted in South Africa, okay, this thing that he did now. That, you know, then the excuse is it's the struggle song, you know. Well, yeah, the struggle ended almost fucking 20 years ago. Why the fuck are you still singing about the struggle? That is what I want to know. You know, recently the police chief of South Africa said that, you know, they're going to look seriously at fighting the farm murders in this country, you know, focusing on how to stop it. Even though, you know, apparently he says that, you know, farm murders isn't actually that what was the word he used? It wasn't that severe as what it really is. Well, I'm sorry, if one person gets killed on a farm, that is severe in anybody's book. If anybody gets killed in this country, that's severe, and you need to look at it. But anyway, so the chief of the police in South Africa, you know, is making it a mission now to curb farm murders. And here you have the ANC Youth League president singing about killing the farmer, killing the Boer. You know, and both of them are from, you know, the ANC, or they support the ANC. So how the fuck does that work, all right? And then, you know, in 90 days, we're going to have the World Cup in South Africa. And here you have an ignorant little fucking black idiot singing about kill the Boer, kill the farmer. In essence, meaning kill white people. So here we have the ANC in South Africa and the government trying to tell people to come to South Africa for the World Cup. And yet one of their leading spokespersons say, kill the Boer, kill the fucking farmer. You know, and the best part is the ANC is gonna, we'll have a talk to him about that, you know. We won't fire him, we won't dismiss him, we won't discipline him, we'll have a talk about this with him, you know. And then, of course, every white person out there that has a political pull has basically said they're going to take this further. But we all know nothing's going to happen. But now this is what I want to know, right? If I had to go in the street and get about 50 white people and start saying, kill the Kafirs, kill the niggers, what do you think's going to happen? I'll either be shot to death right there, or I'll be imprisoned. But Julius Malema said, kill the Boer, kill the farmer, with 600 odd other black people, and nothing happened. Nothing happened. And nothing will happen. So tell me, is this double standards, right? Do you to a certain extent think that this is apartheid reversed. Don't you feel that way? I mean, I can't get a job because I'm white, right? I'm being discriminated against. What happened in apartheid? Black people were discriminated against, right? The white people back in the day that were ignorant sang about killing fucking black people. Well, they didn't even sing, they killed black people. You know, for instance, I'm using an example. Well, now we're in the situation where the black people are discriminating against white people and the black people are singing about killing white people. So, in essence, this is the new apartheid and I'm the sufferer of that. So in 10 to 15 years, will I be able to have an uprising and basically shoot black people because I feel that, you know, my rights has been taken away from me? So in essence, this is going to be one of those reoccurring cycles where this shit just keeps on happening. That is what South Africa's come to, where people can sing whatever the fuck they want about killing a certain ethnicity and nothing's being done about it. It's been classified as hate speech in South Africa, and yeah, he sings about it and fuck all happens. But let me sing, kill the black people. What will happen? Let any white person in this country go on a public forum and sing about killing black people, and then you'll see what happens. That's all I've got to say. Till later. Cheers and peace out.
This guy's protesting. He's protesting the BEE policies. He's protesting black people singing songs that say kill the farmer. But instead of making his protest saying, hey guys, would it not be wrong of me to say kill the black people? Would it not be wrong of me to say kill the Zulus, etc.? He made a similar mistake as Cameron. He used the word kefir and the word nigger in his protest. It was not warranted. He never should have done that. His protest became a perfect failure simply because of those words. He should have gotten his point across without having to do one thing that would have gotten him in trouble, using those words. The truth is, these guys did bad things in order to fight the bad things that were happening to them at the time. Racial exclusion at the university is bad, but surely there's a better way to say racial academic exclusion is bad without having to paint your face black. BEE is bad, but surely there's a better way to say BEE is bad without having to say nigger or kefir. Both Ian Cameron and Renaldo Gouws use the exact things that get people to unite in oppression of them or in oppressing them. Imagine if my husband was killed by my neighbor, God forbid, and in trying to make my neighbor understand how painful it was to me, I then go and stand with a machete and start cutting down their children and say, how do you feel about that? That is what the ANC and other struggle fighters did back then, but right now, instead of explaining what's wrong with the BEE or the Kill the Boer song, you've actually committed a crime in the process. The laws are against it, so be more careful in how you communicate your grievances. The fact of the matter is that there are things that you just can't say whether you are right or wrong. The world is so woke right now, being a white person is as good as being a crime. Unfortunately, I personally don't care about these words, nigger or kefir. They don't bother me, and if a white person were to call me that, I'd probably be offended and let it pass. But there are many people who will never let it pass. Many people have internalized those words and chosen to own them as black people. The bottom line is, there are consequences for everything we do and say. Some of these consequences will be positive and some will be negative. I know for a fact that if the communists and pro-EFF and pro-MK people take over South Africa, things might not go well for people who talk about the things that I talk about. That's a risk I'm willing to take. Right? I'm ready to accept the consequences. If you paint your face black or use the word nigger or kefir, then you're likely to get into trouble. There will be consequences for that, and since you took the time to think about doing it, then I'm sure you've considered the consequences and have decided to do it anyway. The problem is, racist people don't say they're racist. They don't say it. Ask them if they're racist and they'll say they are not. So whether Renaldo Gouws or Ian Cameron are racist or not, it doesn't matter anymore. Their actions have spoken for them and people have judged them to be racist. I know what they were trying to say. I understand their message. But no matter what the message is, if you wrap it up in a bad language, no one cares. In fact, people will hate you and your message. It doesn't matter that it happened 10 years ago or 16 years ago. There are certain stains that are hard to wash off, and that is just a reality. Cameron was trying to fight discrimination, and he ruined it by doing the blackface. When you fight for a noble cause, bombing children in a restaurant is never a good idea. Using the K word or the N word may still be painful to some people, so just don't do it. It's just a word, yes, but don't do it. As I said, I'm not bothered by it, but clearly there are people who are either bothered by it and politicians who just want us to be bothered by it. Don't give them a reason. We live in civilized times where barbarism is not the best way to get your point across. That's why I don't side with Israel or Palestine, because both of them have done things that are too much or too extreme to justify the reasons. Unions trash cities for a raise. That is terrible. I cannot support their cause once they do that. There are better, civilized, and intelligent ways to communicate your point. If you choose violence or racist words, then you've lost. This serves as a lesson for all of us. The internet never forgets. Thank you for watching. I'm Katlego. This is Citizen Concerned. And until next time, beware of the comrades.